Hey guys, Jesse T here. Today we're going to discuss the 7.6 to the 7.11 flipping sticks. I get a lot of emails and I get a lot of questions on our Facebook fan page and my fan page on what to do with what. So I'm going to tell you, we're in the flipping capital of the world. The only thing that even comes remotely close is Gunnersville, which has a ton of hydrilla. But when it comes down to outright mat flipping and punching hydrilla, it's Okeechobee, Toho, Kissimmee. It just doesn't get any better, guys. So let's dive in. All right, so we make 3 complete sets of flipping sticks, and you might wonder, what do you need those for? But of course, like I told you before in prior videos, a tool is necessary to get the job done. It's the right tool that makes you get it done easier, okay? Always remember that. So we make anything from a 7.6 medium heavy all the way up to a 7.11 extra heavy. So let's start out with the beast, which is the 7.11 extra heavy. A lot of guys ask me, what do you need something that strong for? In particular, in Okeechobee, sometimes we can flip up to 2.5 and 3 ounces to get to some of the mats. And if you can just envision this table being a hydrilla mat, it's literally that hard. Sometimes it takes you, 10 or 12 pitches in there to try to get that to break through. Number one. Number two, if people are going out ahead of you and they're throwing 1.5 ounces or 1.25 ounces, they're fighting trying to get through. You come in with that 2.5 or 3 ounce, and that fish is not used to seeing that speed, so all of a sudden you trigger a reaction strike that they're not getting. And number 3 is, every cast I make during the day, now I don't care if it's tournament fishing or not, if I'm out there to fish and I only have a weekend to fish because I work 100 hours a week, or if I'm out there in a derby all weekend, every flip you make that doesn't get through is a fish that you could have caught. So at the end of the day, if you have 50 or 60 or 70 of those that didn't get through, that's 50, 60, 70 bites you gave up. So what I do while I'm out fun fishing, whether it be with my son, friends, Shane, it doesn't matter, everything that I do out there is to make sure that every flip or every pitch I make counts. That's what I strive for. The biggest reason to me is you need a clean flip, because once that hits the mat, if there's a fish there, the fish is already looking and nothing's coming through. So if I throw it in there and it breaks through and he heard it and it comes flying by his face, you're more likely to get a reaction strike then, especially in grass. I don't mean hydrilla, I'm talking about cane grass, what they call Gator Grass, or Kissimmee grass here in Florida, sawgrass in Sam Rayburn. That fish has already seen it, now it's coming through quick, you get the strike. So I use a 7.11 mainly when I'm making long flips. That's the other secret. We're going to talk about all that later in the upcoming videos on flipping. But I like to put my power poles down and I like to back off of a mat as far as I possibly can and still get that pitch. Biggest reason is those big fish are wary. When we get an open here or a big tournament and there's flipping season December through March, it is absolutely chaotic. Ever since these videos have been made on YouTube, everybody thinks they want to go out and punch mats. And a lot of guys just don't have the patience for it. But if the further you can stay out away from a mat, the better, and that's when you need that longer rod. I need to sling that 1.5 ounces to 3 ounces, sometimes 20, 30 yards. I stay way out as far as I can. Or if it's a mat that has a pad field or some kind of obstruction in front of it that you just can't get through your trolling motor without making a racket, I still want that distance to get out there, and I want to be able to have that leverage of that 7.11 to get that fish back to the boat, out of that cover, through that stuff between me and that mat, and get them landed. So that's the biggest reason I use that rod. If I don't have to make very long pitches, but I got to make very accurate ones, I go down to the 7.6 extra heavy. And you wouldn't think them 4 or 5 inches makes a huge difference, but when you have a 2.5 ounce sinker at the end of the day, when you're flipping 5,000-6,000 times throughout the day, that 4 or 5 inches of pivot at the end of the day on your arm and your elbow, buddy, it speaks volumes when you have that shorter rod. Plus, being shorter allows you to make more accurate pitches, okay? I wouldn't recommend that rod if you're trying to fling it way out there, because you're not going to have the leverage. You still might land some, but you're going to lose some, and nobody wants to lose any fish. The 7.6 heavy is the rod I use the most in Florida, especially this time of the year when the fish are in the Kissimmee grass. I use that, 1/2 ounce all the way up to 1.25 ounces. Get through the light stuff. If I'm pitching Gator Grass, which is not the Kissimmee grass, I said that earlier, but the Gator Grass here is green bushy stuff. And you hook a lot of fish in it at certain times, but you can't get them out of it because those roots go way down in there. What happens is usually the rod's too stiff, and people keep forgetting that braid doesn't have any stretch. The hooks that we're going to discuss later have no bend. You're not giving any drag. Something's got to give. So when you have a 6, 8, 9 pound fish underneath that Gator Grass, And that rod is just letting him do his thing till you can get in there and start digging and tearing, or your partner, till you can reach that fish. You're gonna have a lot better chance of landing that fish. So your probability goes right to the roof of landing a fish if you're using the right rod. And it's very parabolic. All our rods are very, very parabolic, and they're parabolic for that reason. And then we have the 7/6 medium heavy. I use that with up to about 3/4, sometimes an ounce. Same situation. If I'm throwing into pads with a Senko, maybe a 5/16 or 3/8 with 20-pound fluorocarbon, I can use that rod. And again, it has the parabolic action and the flax to muscle a big fish out if you need it, but it also has the give to give back if that fish is wrestling around the pad, so you can get in there, get him undone, and get him in the box. So the next video I'm going to talk about is the rigging and how you rig, what I rig on each one of these rods for any particular derby. Thanks for watching, guys.